Okay. Communication, interference of channels, high center, line center, direction, location, position of time. All levels, all conditions, living all one time, line simultaneously, all at once location. I know we got a test day, one position location, a vector one line interference, vector two, vector three location. Wednesday is your location or test. In position, location, of directions. This is all levels of remembrance, communication of platitude locations. Sorry I was late. Lining and rotation calculations is all levels of location directions, how I use myself and all levels in live. Basically, I have to get up earlier because all levels locations coming in positions where Francesca has to get up earlier. I have to get up earlier. So in position locations, I come on live a lot quicker, a lot easier, understand more position location line conditions. So today is test day and position locations, 3D line center, review and evaluation. The actual test is Wednesday. So this is all about you remembering who you are, coming into your remembrance, coming into all levels of your tracks, coming into your position locations, into all levels of you through computer, trying to understand what am I through position location directions. And I told you it's very important to understand to have a relationship with yourself. That's the only way you can understand your electrical light conditions, electrical interference, or your hologram locations, or anything through your mainframes, understanding position location directions. Your accelerations, your timeline centers, your clocking systems, your waving systems, the electrical light connections is all levels of you inside location. Right? So that's what we're coming into. It's all levels of you through memory. Memory is just the A, B's, and C's, guys. Everything that you want, you can have. Right? So it's very important to understand these things. Let's say you got 31 days in a month. Now, are you going to be thinking about every day, or are you going to be thinking about everything that you can do in a month? Think about it. So the avatar can travel through all line center to all 31 days locations. Everything's done. So you wake up every day feeling great, not asking why, knowing the how. It's already done through location positions. It's going to be a great month, not a great day. Okay? So remember, you have to understand that there isn't 7-day week line center. You guys are trying to, in position locations, trying to change your graph interference, going forward and position more integration to its calculation. All right? Force within communication. See that? See what I'm doing with my hands? Right? So it's all about understanding the wheel of you, the life of you, the communications of you, the force of you, the modification cycles of you, the energetic interference locations of you, the flower erection of times of you, the tree formation line conditions of you, the ways of you, the airs of you, the communication line system location line conditions of your adaptation interference locations of you. Everything in life has to move forward, because if you're not, you're moving back. All right? There's no in between. You're not going to be stuck in the middle. Right? Inner line center interference location line conditions. I don't know which day to go. Position location line center interference. There's no day in position location line center. Just live the now location to its position location. So in position of direction, know exactly what you're doing with your calculations. Have conversations with yourself. Now, because we only have a half-hour line center interference locations, we go on Zoom, questions and comments and all location line conditions. But truly understand, that's what you have to do. Find a relationship that sets its position locations of a comfort zone. Just have a regular conversation. Like I said, you're having a cup of coffee with yourself and you're connecting with you, which is fantastic, because if you're not connecting with you, you're connecting with me. Me is its ego. So you want to stay out of the position location of its ego, and you want to understand the position locations of you. You are you. You are all levels of you, because if you're not, you're you of levels of me. So don't get in that position location of directions. Okay. So when you get up in the morning, just have a conversation with yourself, knowing you're going to have a great month, not just a great day. So you got to see yourself. You can't limit yourself. And anything in a position location of abundance, or anything through track location is position of time. It centers its position location of its clocking system, knowing exactly what you can get through calculations. Okay, so it's important to understand that. So when you're in that line, try to say, okay, communication interference line center and direct location. Did I send the line center interference? I don't remember. In communication line inter rotations, you're arguing with your system location. Oh, right, offline center, ground interference. Put flat navigation lines back in calculations to the triangular force line center 369 pattern. 26,004 text communication cycles. Reset liners in communication to system. Done. That's it. I just had a full conversation, got out of an argument location, and centered its position to its ego line connection, all through conversation. Right? So I am having a conversation with me, right? Or I am having a conversation with you, or you are having a conversation with yourself. So you are having a conversation with you, because if you're not having a conversation with you, you're having conversations with me. So you have to integrate this position, location, and directions of who you're communicating with. It's all levels of you. So you are you, or you are me. That's how I see location and position, knowing that the me is its ego, where I have to communicate to its balanced position, location, and directions, and find a way to set position and location and find the flow of yin and yang location to its thought to know exactly what I'm doing in rotation and location. Okay? That's why it's important to understand your pre-flight checks. That's why it's so important to understand your grounds of the mind. That's why it's so important to understand what a test, review, and evaluation does to you through remembrance. Okay? So, how's everybody doing so far? You feel it's up. Just going to quickly do a scan line, center, interference, position, location, and directions, plasma lights, connection line interference. Jill, thank you very much. Okay, Abby, communication with Barbara. Amy, how's it going? Lights are good. Sella, Lindsay, Pam, Terry, Don, Johnny, Michael, Abender, Heather. Okay, let's see. Christina, Sammy, Chris, Val. All right. Just briefly go through locations. Let's see. Calculation line interference. Let's see. SCAR communication line centers. Let's go airline connections, box line centers, weather line center interference, box communications, bracket interference line connections, dark line center, Fibonacci sequence, yin and yang line center interference, box line center, yin and yang position location, offline calculation. Sequence pattern, nine-line center interference, wings communication, Asgard, Frostbird's communications, three-line position location line directions, point line center, point interference, bracket interference, point locations, Fibonacci sequence line center, crop circle locations, O line center interference, and position location atom, point line center, bracket communication system. Very good, Michael. Excellent. So I did that through all sort of text line. Right? Knowing exactly what it is through code calculation, how you set these things in wind factors, communication line center, interference, location, directions. Longitude and latitude calculations, yes. Very good. All right, weather pattern, interference, location, line conditions. So all those are channels. So I was trying to understand how you use your, not just your position locations, but trying to understand more levels of you through travel. This correlates its high system. All right, so high center interference locations. Now, test day, it's all about understanding how to put yourself in location. All right. So it's all about what you already know. Okay. So you don't go back line center. You always bring yourself going forward. So if you're referencing things, that's fine. You can go back, but just reference. Don't bring in position locations of what you already know, because you put position location offline center, it's going to change your center line center interference. Okay. So always go back and reference of time, especially if you want to see these things, the locations. So when we're drawing the location like this, the travel lines, if I'm going back in sequence, okay, I press that in position, location, and direction. Okay, this brings me forward. All right, so that's eternity standing. This brings me forward. It's not the past, it's the now. So remember that. That's how you guys got to see things. This is not the past, this is the now. So the now becomes everything. If I want to add something to it, it changes its location, right, to its position of time, and everything through a space line condition. All right. So in calculation line streams, I'll be right back.
Water boys are here.
Okay. Every day is a busy day, but see, every day is always a day. Position, location, and what you want to do is all timelines in an outline, center, interference, location, and directions. Okay, so it's important. Everything that you see in perception, it's all reference. Okay, so everything that you see is bringing its position in the now. Okay, so you think I did it in the past. No. When it comes to position, it's in the now. So if I want to change the frame in position, location, or directions, it brings it forward into the future. Okay, so now one thing I want you to understand is really understand how levels of your structure, how to set up your formulas. So let's say you get a triangle force line center. Triangle, force line center. Where's the force and where's the line center? So first off, you have to understand what I'm talking about. Triangle, force, line, center. Where do you think the line center is? When I say a triangle, force, where's the force coming from? Force, line, center. Split position locations. So force, line, center is position location to its circle. Okay? So it's sure you understand how to use the plateau and interference location of 3 in position location of 6 and position locations of 9. Right? Now, once you come in that position locations, this is just a review. 3, 6, 9, and 12. All right. This calculates and all modifies all position, locations, and directions. Then you come into your fluctuation to your flux capacitor. See how it sets position locations to all levels of the third eye? So exactly where everything is position locations, right? In high center line conditions, all levels of eye line, scanning position, location, and directions, right? So that signals patterns in communications. Your circle locations of 3, your circle locations of 6, and your circle locations of 9, and your circle locations of 12. In position locations, you come into higher force line center locations into a diamond line system. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of travel. Okay, we're going to go spectral lights of Saturn. Saturn is going to give you a platitude vision location to understand what it is through test, review, and evaluation, how it volumes on so many levels, okay? Coming into lines to your flash drive memories, communication of fast track interference, because in acceleration on Wednesday, you guys are going to be a higher capacity of the mind. Okay? So in position locations, you got 20-minute line center, 20 interference locations in the long line system of 20 seconds per location. So always remember, you're always 60 seconds on a clock line system interference, but you're no longer triangulating its line center position locations of 24 positions. You're in 144 now, miles per second. The ascension gods are 644. To be in position of direction, you have to truly understand anything that you do through travel brings you in position of the now. Okay? Spectral lights interference, a code signal line centers, all communication to its reference line center. Get them in information panel 2 calculations, crews, squads, units, 1 and 2 position locations, GFL line center, rebellion line center, interference locations, direct system, ascending community, ascension gods. Get them into reference, get them into program and communication, center line position locations, all levels of Saturn, identification code stream line center, 1,000 unit line center, 8,000 line connection, all position locations, flash drive memory and position location direction. All right, signal and position locations, high channel line center, 40 minutes in position locations, 20 line center interference, 40-minute line rotation calculations, in position locations of 20-minute signals. Have fun. Now, your calculation locations come into more of a test, review, and evaluation, truly understanding everything I do through travel comes into the now. Remember that. That's a lion. So in position locations, as soon as I change the track line center, it changes its location into the future. All right. So you guys are traveling through that line center. All right. So basically, I really want to get more into structure. Structure is important because you can go through box line interference. Let's start off with our basic locations. That's a box position. All right. Now we got another box position location. See that? See how it's building? So every time I'm building, I'm moving more into the future because I'm already in the now. My clocking system is in the now. It's not in the past. The past brings into the now. So there's no past. So in position location, the integration is only one timeline. There's no 7 days days a week location of a graph, only the now. The clocking system is the now. Okay? So if you're in the now and you are traveling, you're now in the future. Understand? That's how this works. Okay? So I keep adding square locations more into the future, more into the future. And you can move it through signal in position, location, and direction. High channel line center interference in position locations. You can move wherever you want, right? It's like Tetris. So locking in frame and high center, bringing communication in position, location, and directions. Now this structures you. Understanding you through memory is understanding why you're in manifestations, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to auto-correct everything that happened to you in your timeline. Your avatar has to truly understand communication system to its position of time location. All right, as it's locked in signal, okay, it gets bigger and bigger, right? Try to understand the structural location of what you're doing. It's always adding frames. So it's going more into the future. So as it's going in the future, you lock it in frame, right? Now, if you want to change your line center, you have to look at your position locations of your flights. You have 1 to 12, and you have position location to escape. Escape its position location. You can change your geometry line center. 12 interference position locations to 12 line in rotation is 24 locations. So you can go back down in fluctuation to your flux capacitors, but you have to go back into 144 because that is your baseline. Your baseline is 144. Okay? So you lock that in frame and you go higher and higher each time. You go higher and higher each time. Okay? Lock that in frame, you go higher and higher. Right? So every time you go higher, you're changing graph interference at position, location, of direction. You're setting new structural locations. So what you're doing is you're structuring your new calculation to your manifestations of co-creation. Okay? And it's all in frame line center to a hologram. Everything comes a hologram inside location. See? That's where it starts, like this. See? Hologram. So it signals its pattern, opens all communication system, line connections, everything through its formation. So once it comes into triangulation, you have to truly understand how to connect to everything through dot line center interference. Now, this is how you set up position, location, and directions. Setting position location is all levels of view through hologram structure. How to set signals up is all levels of view through point location, right? So it's interesting too, because now the mind is trying to understand the interception to its brain location. So you got two open window signals crossing position locations to its window, right? Two window line center interference location, okay, to an open window. Two open window line centers into a realm, to a portal, right? So it's in communications. Two open windows into a realm of a portal. So it communicates to this high stream. Hologram structure is already set up in position, location, of directions, all right? So as you come into highline center, you go into higher levels of triangulation, okay? So as it comes in position locations, you're scanning its highline center, graph interference locations, but you have to have security locks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 position, location, and direction. Skylines its position and crossing signals. Understand the atmosphere locations of time in position, location, and direction. Now this is where it gets confusing. So once it comes in high interference, it changes its rotation center. In communication, you come into the sun graph locations. Coloration of 1 line, coloration of 2 line, coloration of 3 line, coloration of 4 line, and so on and so on and so on. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 position, location, and directions. So you can step on those point line center interference, redirect location to its position. This is you walking the surface in the dimensional line center to a TV reception location. That's you in top line system. So you're going down like Tetris. It's like Hubert. Jumping on block center interference. So you go, you're jumping, right? So in position locations, you have to learn how to vortex communicate. Now I can communicate to line interference locations, but are you levitating or you're vortexing back. So your body traction has to understand its emotional system. The emotional system is where everything is in connections. All right. So as you're channeling the position locations, this is what happens to you in high force line center, going from here to here. Right. So in position locations, the hologram structure changes your thought lines. So it changes your position location of directions. So what happens is the XE1000s come in position locations, all levels. There's an XE1000 line center, scans position locations of what you just created, and it opens up a whole level of a position locations of a portal line center into position location of direction. Okay. So once it's in signal, you can travel to another realm line center. It's really interesting too, because the thing is, you have to understand how to walk the surface before you can go into calculation. So it's kind of like understanding that you have to understand how to crawl before you can walk, right? And then you come into talking, right? Your A, B's, and C's, and 1, 2s, and 3s. So in calculations, you're trying to understanding, you come in a white graph line. So you're directing line centers. Let's say we go in position locations. Let's say you want to change the sun in your security line. So the sun is line center interference location of red, right? The sun is red because that's where the security line position. Now, anything through red line center, anything through security location is Pluto location. Highline center, green interference location. The moon could be anything through coloration, through your thought locations, and how you connect through emotional track locations. It's very important because the accelerators are changing line center interference in position location line conditions. All right. That's the sun. That's the moon. Triangulation force line center location to its flux capacitor, ground center interference, and position location of direction. Right. Now, once you understand the high center interference, the sun comes back in a communication cycle, sets position locations to moonbeams, sun line center interference. Wait a minute. Hold on, General. You're saying there's more than one sun? Yep. Especially if you're in another universal line. You guys have to understand something, is that you don't just have one sun when you go to higher acceleration. You're going into higher levels. So it's kind of like recalibrating, reframing, readjusting one structural location to one universal line center, which is 1/5 position location directions. Once you set that up, you can go to any universal line and come in communication to different structural location. Right? So in position locations, this is the sun, this is the sun. Different color, right? Purple and red. But the sun position location is on a security line. This sun here is in its high line of its crown chakra. Why? Because this is in a different universe line. Okay? One solar system, one universal, one galaxy. Okay? One sun, one moon. That's all you have in the fifth dimension. But when you're in a higher level of acceleration of the mind system, you can have more surface locations. You can have more than one sun. It depends on where you travel through portal. So in position location, this is all levels, how you have to understand its perception. It's very important to keep your realities intact with your formation. Okay. So as the sun comes into our line center in position locations, it sets up sonar location. Right. So setting graph line center, electrical light interference location at ground line centers, it opens up all levels of ground line center interference location or rainbow location to a system. It high channels its high line center electrical light connections to levels of panel interference location of flux capacitor. It high channels its high line center, set the light codes in position location, and you travel through it. There you go, traveling through that location. So it's interesting how you see yourself through visionary connections. Now you got 4 frontal lobes. One here, one here, one here, and one here, right? Now, how to use it is all provisional location, how you use your scepter line. Your scepter line is in position location floating. There's your scepter line, okay? When you go beyond recognition of anything, location, it's all levels of an atom. See how it travels very fast? So think of it this way. You got a line center, a T-frame interference, T-frame right here, right? So you're in a Y vector in position of the V vector line location. So you get electrical lights from both hand line rotation. But the atom line center is it's in the center. It's going, so it looks like this locations. It's really interesting too because it's floating. All right, so you get electrical light connections. It's in the position location of this atom. This is the atom location. All right. That's what it looks like. All right. So, understanding line center, you come in an optical line interference. Your electrical light panels and your communication cycle is setting line center interference location to all levels of U3 locations. Times factor, times communication, times triangulation. Open all communication cycles to reset line generation light centers. It's all communication of U3 clocking. All right, so clocking line center location to its position. High channel high line center interference location, all levels of a sequence location. High channel high center line conditional line to a satellite high position location of direction. Okay. In direction location of signal. Set signal locations of panels, electrical light condition, position location of direction. So it sets signals in position location of sonar line center to alpha wave channel location of position location. Right? Setting signals. In position locations, you can see me, right? Right? There's my face. There's my body. Right? Oh, there's my nose. See? Now I'm looking down. See? I'm looking up and I'm looking down. See? See how I do that? See the triangulation? See the circle line center? Circle line center through triangulation location. There's my nose. There's me looking down like that. So truly understanding how to comprehend its position location of directions, right? This fortitude is its light center and position location of levels. That's exactly what it is. Using triangulation of Orion's belt, completing the circuit towards vortex of travel. Very good. Very good, Saul. So it's position locations once you go into the I-line center. So it's all about you guys coming into your atoms. And that's what's happening now. Okay? So I'm getting you guys ready through acceleration how to use your location as position. So every time you're doing travel and everything you connect with in the past line center, you're always bringing into the now. Now, if you're going to add a sequence locations in position locations, you're in the future. Okay? Basic understanding, right? Test, review, and evaluation. It formulates all levels of U3 location, right? It helps you in all ways and forms. Okay, so we got 7 minutes on the line track. Okay, so I'll take you guys right at position locations. I'll give you 60 seconds to get ready, and then we hop on Zoom, right? So it's amazing how we go through all these levels. I'm just showing you how powerful it is, what you can do through acceleration, how you can basically time frequency, time code, time calculation, anything through box position to time capacitor. All right. Breathe, hydrate, balance. It's like General's talking at a whole new level. Forms of levels of meaning through acceleration. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, very good, Kenny. Integrate location more line center in the future interference location eye receptor interference. So your eye is actually floating, but it's not an eye. It's all levels of travel. Once you come in position location, that's what it is. It's all formations of all structure. That's what this is. But it starts off at 3-line. 3-line position, location, or direction, right? Position of the 3, 6, and position location 9. So position location, the atom comes out in line center and interference position location line conditions, right? Travels at the 12-line center interference of DNA and position location. That's basic understanding. When you wake up, this is what you come into right away. So it tries to recognize your electrical light body through position locations to all levels and how you see your heat signature patterns in interference location through its electrical light condition. All right? Are we all confused? Probably. So it's really understanding how you use your coloration of timelines in position locations because you have ground line centers, you have the power interference, and you got your magnetic highway information system to its position location line condition. It channels into all levels of your E field line center interference. So this is where you center its position locations and where the sun line is in position location and where the moon is in position locations, right? So this is the moon line center, same coloration of U3 body location, right? So it channels down electrical light interference in position location to 3-line positions. You need 3 position location lines and grounds because the growthings have set up position locations. Your calculation is always in the center line communication. It's always in the center, always in the center, always in the center, always in the center, always in the center. Okay? You're always in the center. Okay? If you're not in the center, you're offline track. Okay? You're offline track, both line interference. So you always got to be back into the center operation, right? Coming into your communications to all levels, what's coming into? A tree formation. So In position location, flower erection of time center opens all communication cycles. Reset line centers all levels of your connections. How to use it is all levels of you. 3 equals line center. Okay. 3 equals line center. Center business location of 6 equals moon interference. Okay. Equals interference. Interference locations, travel line center locations equals equation. Okay. Overcross. Now, overcross line center interference brings you back in communication. So, like I'm saying, anything you bring in past line is no past line position. You're bringing a 4 into the now. And anything you do in the now comes into the now of its future. That's the equation location. All right. So, in position of directions, try to understand how to use your communication more and more each day. Understanding line centers of view, communications of view, communication line interference of view, coloration patterns of view, electrical light connections of view, panel information location line connections of view. All right. So this helps you and always informs. Okay. How to use your scepters in relation to you through travel. How to use the astral connection. Once you come into astro connection, you're coming into the galaxies. All right. So I'm letting you guys know of what's going to happen on test day when the acceleration of your mind is going to come more in adaptation. Okay. You're going to see more in your reality. Okay. So be ready for that. Okay. Getting ready for what you want to see is everything information all at once. So planet line center interference location of line direction locations. Trinity stand. This is you. Right. Now let's say you get an upgrade. Okay, so upgrade comes in magnetic highway information location to all levels. Here's the sun, here's the moon location. All right. Channel and position location, channel and position locations. Now you got Orion's belt, channel and line center. Fluctuation line connection to its position location and directions. High channel is your light center interference location. Set up sonar and interference location, line directions. All levels. Sonars come in as your location. The alpha wave, delta, theta, big communication line system. Opens all communications back and track line center, brain interference locations. Open up mind line center, electrical light interference location directions. High channel and side line center, interposition location direction. All right. All through information. So it's true to understand that you're all levels of you. Understanding more levels of you is all law and connection of you through traction. Okay. So it's important to understand that. White graph interference, position of direction. Now, boxing communication. Okay. Gray line center. Boxing, gray line center. Gray line center. Get it? Gray line center. It's gray. It's a line and it's a center. Center position here, not here. That's a line cross. So in position location, it becomes a high line interference. How you use it is location to its position. All right. That's why I took perspective. All right. Try to understand how to use box position location and direction. So you can hide signals and you can change the box interference location. See? High channel is high line center. You travel to higher line, more rotation, more low connection to its hologram structure. See, you get 3 line interference. Now you can open a realm line rotation and calculation. Changes position location of directions. High channel is its high line center into a face line recognition. Face recognition comes into all line center in position location of directions. There's the intelligence. Ooh-ah. See it? See the intelligence? That's how it works. So, Tristan is to use structure lines, communication interference, track location to position of time, all levels of high center interference. Okay, I got to take you guys out. All right, 34 line centers, 7, 8, 9, back. You guys are back now, all through clocking. All right, so we got 5 more minutes and then we'll head over to Zoom location. All right, so the review and evaluation is all levels of view. Okay, the test is already done. So when you're doing the test, just try to understand what's going on with you. This is helping you. It's a test of will, of force. It's creation to its location of what you already know in its provision location of its memory. Okay, that's all you need to know. Knowing that you already passed it. Okay, don't go, oh, testing. Oh, I can't do this. No, this is not going to work for me. Right? Zoom is on my YouTube. It's only for position locations for only the activation. All right. If you need to be activated, you can go on my live on TikTok. Imposition on connection line center interference. True to understand all levels of view is its connections. How to use your transmissions, how to use your transmitting and receiving information location to all levels of channel disposition. All right. So, what a fun day, eh? It's a lot of fun. Vector 1, tomorrow, vector 2. Wednesday's the test, okay? So tomorrow we get into the full evaluation through all calculations. All right? Okay, I'll see you guys on Zoom. Adios.